Hey everybody, welcome back to your favorite media response show, X is for Show. I am, of course, Nico. You can check the show out at X is for Show. You can check me out at Nico Action. That's NICOACTION. As for these guys...
Hi, I'm Jonah. You can find me places at Peak Jonah. That's Peak.
And I'm TK. You can find me at TK Elemental.
And that makes me your producer, Kevo. You can find me at Kevo Really. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment so that we know what you want us to cover in the future. But today, we will be covering some Drag Race.
Yeah, it kind of seems like you don't have a choice about today already. Today's been decided, so you can't let us know
for
about
the future.
Today.
It's for the future.
You could put a comment in and ask about a thing, and we would probably talk about it.
We probably would. We're easily distractible.
Yeah.
But there's one thing we would definitely talk about, though. We would definitely talk about the fact that we have none other than the amazing, the fabulous, the uncredible. That's right, that's uncredible, like an uncrustable. Tori with us today.
Hi, everyone. Hello. I saw most of you yesterday, so this is lovely.
You did. Hey, welcome to the party, pal.
Hi.
Okay, so...
Why did you see everyone but me yesterday, Tori?
Oh, we went to a thing called Solid Pink Disco.
Go on.
Oh, headlining Trixie Mattel, including our fave, Jan Sport, and several others. Chrissy and Reeve and all kinds of things. It was very fun.
Now,
it was very sad to not have TK.
I want to start with, there are very few people in this world who understand what the building behind me means to me, and almost all of them have a Jersey zip code. But this crazy gentleman, his area code is 1000% Portland, and he is 1000% aware of how great Asbury can be. And Asbury Pride is such a legend in the Jersey queer scene. And this year, they decided to kick things off with none other than Trixie Mattel and the Solid Pink Disco event. She came through with, like we've already said, a number of amazing people, but that only brought out the best and brightest in the local drag as well. So there were a number of incredible drag shows going on that night and tonight. And as a matter of fact, if you get your ass in the car as soon as this is over, but not a minute earlier, if you leave earlier, it'll actually slow you down. You can go see Jan playing in Paradise down in Asbury. So definitely, don't forget to support all kinds of drag. But we went to like the Dragapalooza of the Jersey scene last night, and it was amazing. We have a lot of video, a lot of pictures, and we'll be happy to throw those up and in as the episode goes on. But I think the thing I want to say the most exciting for me was just what a celebration they made it. I mean, so much of it was, $32 beers. But like the other part of it that was amazing for me was getting to see the celebration of queer art come together in a place that I always loved. And like growing up as a guy who was like, oh, I'm going to go to the Taproot show at Convention Hall, and I'm going to go to all of these other alternative rock shows. It was just so special getting to see a very queer show in a place that I always associate with rock music. How did you feel, Tori?
I agree. I've been to that stage before. I saw Kesha on there with Betty Who opening, and I had such an amazing time. So I was super amped to see Trixie and get to enjoy this space again, because it's a really, outside of the fact that you can't leave once you get in, like they have food there that's pretty good. They have drinks, they have bathrooms, they have all kinds of things. Like it's a great time every time. So I love the Stone Pony.
I have to say, my conspiracy theory about Betty Who is that she is secretly Pink's daughter. I wanted everybody to know that.
How old is she? She's older than that.
No, I think the math I think I mathed it and it actually maths out.
So as you can see, we got some amazing video of this amazing show. The number of local talent that they brought up on stage, there were so many incredible girls. If I have one regret, it's that there was no way to get some of their names. Like occasionally you would hear, and that's Lady Pussyfolk. And you would just be like, what was her name? Yeah. And like, so you heard it for
I don't think so.
I do want to say, and this is so random, because it needs to be said, the body positivity on this stage was really cool. Jan's boyfriend is not a stick thin boy, and he had some really delicious curves. And seeing him up there, whacking, crunking, and banging, it was amazing. Really, the amount of talent all around, the amount of performance is so terrific. It was very exciting to get to see this much live performance. Jonah, how did you feel?
One, I got to hear Jan sing some Chappelle Roan. She sang Pink Pony Club, which is very apropos of the stage that they were on, the name of the disco. Jan live is absolutely incredible. Her voice is angelic. Her voice is
So good.
pretty spectacular. So getting to not only see her host, have a great time, we got to see Chrissy. I like... That's my screaming because I was so just excited. It was like...
That's honestly the part I'm most jealous of. I love Trixie, but I've seen Trixie a bunch. I love that hat.
Yours now.
Thank you. I've seen Trixie a bunch. I'm interested. I want you guys to tell me a little bit about like Trixie as a DJ and that being the feature, because I've seen Trixie do stand up with a couple songs, stand up with like more of the music woven in, but I haven't seen her in a really long time. So I was kind of like, I've had my Trixie time. I've had some good Trixie time, but Chrissy Shipeka's career over these past few months, and Nico mentioned to me that people were calling out for Bodysuit, which she pointed out is not her song to perform.
She was so dismissive. She was
Yeah.
like, "No, honey, I just sang that for Drag Race."
Yeah, which I mean is absolutely true. Makes total sense. I think it really speaks though to like how somebody becomes a celebrity, because the crazy thing is both the other women who performed are they have Spotify accounts. They have Spotify presences. And honestly, I love the voice. Well, I love both of their voices, but particularly the woman who did Queen of Wind. I would listen to like 8 more house anthems from her, but this was not her year. Didn't happen for her this year. I think things lined up where Chrissy had a couple really good tracks like Verse, and then immediately after 10 Boyfriends came out. And between that, her TikTok presence, it was just the perfect time for her to release a track. I just think it's very funny that it's not, or for her to be on a track on Drag Race. It's just very funny that it's not hers and not one that she can really like bank on.
If I had like a big takeaway from, because I've seen DJ sets, I love a good DJ set. When I think about a really solid DJ set, it's sort of like a perfect playlist where you don't want to stop dancing. With a couple of jokes. And Trixie's jokes were sort of patented Trixie. So if like when we saw Bianca, part of me was kind of like, you got what you get what you expected. You got exactly Bianca, better or worse. When you see Trixie, evidently you get exactly Trixie. And
I was gonna say when Trixie was doing stand-up shows, it was the exact. I saw both of them. One after the other, after the other, after other. And I love them both. I think they're super funny, but it is exactly that. You go in being like, I know what their joke, like the style of humor they do, and they did exactly. There's no moment at which either of them is like doing Gallagher shit, and you're like, I didn't expect it.
Yeah, this is literally just like, what if Goldfrapp was Lisa Lampanelli? This is just, it's exactly what you think it's going to be.
Yep.
And it was everything. Trixie, I do want to give Trixie credit. One, she had the best hair.
Amazing hair.
She had like a lion's mane, and she was just...
That's the Goldfrapp part!
She loves that wig. Just bopping in that wig is, I think, her dream.
It was her favorite.
Yeah.
I could tell she was having a lot of fun. A lot of her mixes were also like genuinely, and this is not to sound shady, like, oh my god, she's talented. No, Trixie's mixes are actually really good. They're really enjoyable. I'm very happy she put it on YouTube. She did her mix of her. And like that, it gets everybody going.
Her? She?
Talk about me.
Her.
I gotta say, I also really respect that she had help. I think this year a lot of people became exposed to the fact that DJ sets are complicated, and sometimes it is not the DJ who is doing the complicated part. I'm talking about Grimes. Grimes completely blowing it for the whole community by just sucking at her Coachella set and then lying about why and doing typical Grimes shit. I have no sympathy for Grimes because she produced Elon Musk babies. But a lot of people for the first time were like, look at these cuties! Their drinks.
That's probably double number 2. I think.
Yeah,
No,
I can.
shirt's still on. That's double number 1.
Okay.
Accidental double.
They're all accidental if you think about it.
Try
But
hard
you know,
enough.
Trixie has been really. You know, I think it's smart to show that you are not like. You know, she's not a professional DJ. She is a professional drag queen that can do a lot of stuff. And I think we expect excellence from her, but nobody expects it necessarily to be like. She has to be perfect at all times. So I thought it was very cool just to see her up there with assistance from other people and kind of reminding us that like you can do a banger set and it's not all you.
Especially because like this was what was interesting. The number of songs that like Rev did that belonged to other people. Okay, so I want to talk about Rev for a second. I really liked her set. It was the sort of thing where I could see her going on to a massive career with Grammys, and like I could see it. There are things where she could use a little bit of like, evidently she's been an artist for 10 years, so who the fuck am I? But there's places where maybe like she could, I think, use a little bit of polish. There's places where like the fact that she's a big Tori Amos fan clearly came across when she played the roadie doing a piano cover, dramatizing Madonna's Hung Up to the nth degree, adding in a few as she hit the piano. Yeah, Mama, I see you. But like she added an element of artistry that not that these other girls don't have and not that they don't do, but that I don't think they get the respect to do. When a drag queen gets up there, when a drag queen's like, I want to slow it down and I want to do the Downeastern Alexa by Billy Joel. I want to just share this beautiful song about fishermen with you. People are kind of like, wrong fishy, and like they get booed off the stage. But
Yeah.
when you know Rev, so sorry, I didn't mean to mispronounce the accent. When she came out and did her little at the piano bit, it was really exquisite to the point where I maybe thought like, so Chrissy is clearly an A+ supermodel mega queen, and when she was like, Mamas, I demand that you clap for the songs you haven't heard before. Bitch, they were all such bangers. The ones that I didn't know could have been brand new, and I wouldn't have known because every one of them was great. She was great. Every note was great. The places where she was screaming for notes that were bad, I was still like, yes, go off. Make that new note. L sharp, flat mama. Yes, I love the L sharp, flat mama. You do it. And like, I loved the artistry here. I just feel like Jan wouldn't get the same opportunity. I don't think Jan would be given the same room to sit at a piano and get really sentimental. And like, it's something that I think these girls are sometimes expected to always be a doll. The mask can never come off. They can never show that intimacy, that sort of sensitivity without the punchline being there. And I think this show was such a great step in reminding people that the diversity of artistry exists. And just because somebody like Jan has been on Drag Race doesn't mean that she still doesn't have those piano girl feels. And so, like, I just loved the whole thing.
I think that is currently the thing that has to change and is changing. But like, you are getting things like Thorgy has increasingly been doing. Thank you. Has increasingly been doing orchestra shows where, you know, there's a clip going around of her being like, how many of you are here because like you're season ticket holders, you just like the orchestra and you have no idea who I am? And like half the audience is like, yes. How many of you are drag fans and you've never been to, you know, to see an orchestra before? Half the audience clapping. So like, she's doing that thing as well. She, Monet, and Saphira, actually, I meant to talk to you guys about this in like 2 weeks. I absolutely cannot go to it because it's Portland Pride, but the three of them are doing like an opera event it's a general admission free event. I want to say at Lincoln Center, but all of you should go to that. And I just like the artists who don't do traditional pop and or dance drag numbers and presentation are really starting to get that chance. But you're right that like it's not what people expect, and if you don't present as like I'm specifically going to be sitting at a piano, you might get a lot of pushback if you do try and do something like that.
But let me tell you, you know who gives you the opportunity to do that? Straight to DVD Productions and 10 Yard Clothing. They have so much room for people with instruments and masks and, this kind of drag.
Highest starting booking fee for any drag performer who wants to get their start in the New York area.
They are quite the group, and they are proud to brag about that on stage. So definitely don't forget to check that out. But now to just fast forward a little bit to something where only Kevo and I have the first hand, and then we're going to circle back and get all the best notes. At 11:30 at the best hotel in the world, the Empress Hotel, where every bathroom feels like your aunt's bathroom in 1993.
Yeah, okay.
There was this Pride kickoff party at one of my favorite places to get incredibly hammered and do karaoke. Paradise, where you get a ticket to go to if you stay in the hotel, and these unbelievable queens put on a goddamn show after every one of these bitches were at the show. In fact, the host of the show, the lovely lady in the little blonde pussycat wig, she actually, it was her birthday, and she was at the Trixie show, and they sang happy birthday to her. And it was amazing. And at like 12:30, they were like, okay, guys, show's over. Just kidding, another half an hour. And so then we just went more. And it was a great time. They make what is a very small little room feel humongous. And these girls turn it out. They literally, there's like rock climbing ridges in the support beam in the middle of the room so the girls can climb it and jump off of it.
Yes, there are. That was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Some of us have climbed them before. And so it is really incredible because I've seen this stage be for this. I've seen this stage be the weekend of oh gosh, why am I blanking? See Here Now. I've seen this be so many different amazing mini stages after so many amazing events. And man, Asbury local drag really knows how to turn it out. Kevo, how'd you feel about your first real dirty late stay out show?
It was not my first. I have not had many. I have had before. I have not had good experiences though. Especially getting to experience this with you as we have gotten to know the world of drag together. This was really lovely. This was so much fun. And, so light and easy. We both keep being like, we're 38. Why aren't we hungover today? We got up. We did stuff. We drove home from the hotel. You hear about those gay old weekend warriors. I feel like I glamped their experience. Nowhere near the pioneer experience that they went through by any means. But I went through the Babytown version of it, and it was fun. It was cute.
I had a great time. I can't suggest. For $40 to get everything we got from this show, 5 hours of entertainment, and then all of these local shows with these $5 and $10 covers, you can do 8 hours of supporting this art form. Plus tips. Remember to tip your queens. For $50 you can do 8 hours of amazing drag. And that is unbelievable. That is too good to be passed up. And I just really recommend everybody go out and support your queens. Anybody, any last thoughts on Solid Pink Disco? Any winner chicken dinner thoughts?
I got Jan singing Chappelle Roan. My life is complete. I hit a goal that I didn't know I had.
Truly. I do want to say the other thing that was really cool was Rev walked off stage for 5 minutes and just gave it up to her dancers to give them the opportunity to really show off. And that is so incredible. I am such a fan because it is a group project. It really is coming together to do all of this as a crew It's not just one person. So it's so exciting when people kind of recognize that, like Trixie. Love you, girl, but you cannot fill this big stage with that big hair. You needed a bunch of friends making out in the middle of the stage. And the one, not to be, but the hottest dancer, the hairy one, who kept doing all the lifts, he showed his butt so many times, and it just reminded me why I'm so happy and so proud to be a top. Gentlemen like that flashing their butts. Oh, thank you. So big fan. Anyway, so that's my toxic masculinity for the night. And let's go to toxic femininity, because that is definitely what an episode of Drag Race often contains. Gay dudes being the best catty bitches they know how. I hated this episode, and I really loved this episode. I'm going to get it out of the way now. Can we just take a vote? How many people here have been personally victimized by Roxy Andrews being too fucking talented for a competition that she's allowed to compete in? She's such a professional seamstress. It is literally not... I'm not picking on her. She deserved the win for her seamstress thing. But she's literally too talented.
See, and I thought you were going to say how many people were personally victimized by them using the makeover episode to put in the top who they want.
But, I mean, Roxy should not have been allowed to make those 3 dresses. If Roxy can make those 3 dresses, Roxy should not have been allowed to make those 3 dresses.
I mean,
listen,
I don't know.
I love a prepared queen.
And that's like, Roxy isn't so known for that. It's, I don't know. I feel weird about it.
So what, you're saying Charo should be allowed to enter an amateur guitar playing competition because most people don't know that she's an award-winning Spanish guitarist and they think she's just a pair of tits that goes coochie coo?
I mean, it's kind of the opposite, but yeah.
Somebody doesn't know she's a guitarist.
For me, I'm so sorry that none of the girls know how to sew.
Well, yeah, that's
so
definitely part of the conversation.
Sorry.
Thank you.
They don't know.
And I mean,
Get over
take
it.
a class. Add a learning annex. I don't know.
Not the one that Shangela took, though, because that did not go well.
It's All Stars 9.
There's one person in each group where I'm like, I am surprised that person is not like a very accomplished sewer. I'm surprised Chanel isn't. I'm surprised that Nina West isn't. I'm surprised that Plastique isn't. And whatever their skills are, whatever skills they brought, I do just sort of think, I mean, we talk about this all the time. Like and the show talks about it all the time. It's, you know, Rue is always like, you knew you were coming on, you didn't learn to sew. And yet it's something that has faded into the background, especially in the last couple years, where it doesn't always get talked about as much. But then when you have a moment where somebody comes on who, you know, the clip going around a lot since All Star started is, I think it is Alaska specifically saying, yeah, just every week Roxy made her look that week. And when that queen is there with everybody else, it's kind of similar to Gottmik. Like when Gottmik is there doing makeup, even though everybody else is great and might have really good looks and might even like put together a really good look and sew a really good look, when you have a person that literally can just at a professional level put something together on the regular, it's a weird, you don't quite know how to work with it in your viewing experience.
And this is a great image of it to conjure it up. Gottmik is the ultimate little crunchy, like punky ska goblin king. Mm-hmm. And I love that about him. And I love her. I'm a huge fan of Nina West. I love her. But Nina West is sort of like that super uncool girl. And like, even like in the theater kids, like, I'm sure she's so cool. Look at her. She's amazing. But like the way they capture her, the way they get her going, like she's always making Paul Lynde face. And like, I feel like they go out of their way to capture these moments that make crunchy cool motherfucker Gottmik look even crunchy cooler. And then they're sort of like, also Nina West is here. It's just not fair.
I
this go for it.
I was gonna say I just have I have a couple things to say. To your point, this was the best image I could get for this moment. Nina moves a lot, and it makes it hard to get like really good photos. She also has a very like lovable, goofy face, and as Roxy said, she has to be nice, and that's mean. I personally enjoy a lot of what Nina does and what she brings, but there is you just looking at this image, you're like, if I said which one of these is the cooler one, I think everybody might agree it'd be Mick. To what you were saying about Roxy before, not that I did not appreciate what Roxy did, because making all those outfits probably the day before or literally the morning of is really impressive and really, props to you, Mama, because they looked stunning. It felt like that is what carried it to the win, and that feels weird. This isn't the sewing challenge. This is a makeover challenge. That shouldn't be as big as a parameter. I personally think that they should make them sew the outfits for the sewing challenge, give them the extra day to do it. But the fact that I felt like the way that they were editing it made it that was the win. The reason for the win felt weird because I actually thought two of the other teams performed stronger, and I would have given it to on screen Georges and Plastique.
I just feel like if Roxy and Vanjie both cheered for their win at the same time, it would sound like someone kicking a blender. And I had a lot of Frozen Daiquiri feels about this joint win that yes, talented girls only, okay? Season 9, talented girls only. Every girl who wins this episode, in any episode in this season, deserves it. This is oops all winners. Sorry about it, Mama. But like, I really would not have given the win to where it went. And I think part of it has to do with, we're at the point where now sometimes I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, but temporary queen, sweetie, I'm sorry, you're not my thing. I could not help but compare this bodybuilder queen to Buffy Nuff from Canada. And I thought Buffy Nuff dragged it up a little more. And don't get me wrong, super faggy, gay, actual gay.
No, that's not the gay one.
No, but I meant Buffy Nuff, actual gay. But like, I felt like the only one of these girls who fucking served was Anare. I'm so sorry, sir. I've forgotten how to pronounce your name, but you are like literally way too beautiful to be a real man. These other girls were great, but like, I'm at the point where I'm like, I've seen 100 temporary girls perform. I know my standards.
You were very close. It's Henri. Like,
thank you.
Because I remember being like, Henri? No, Henri. And yeah, I mean, this was a great one because they got 3 very gay friendly, very friendly. I mean, like,
they had that friend in college that had that weekend with them that one time that nobody has talked about in a really long time.
You cannot convince me Brad Lee especially is not that man. But if Bradley identifies as straight, okay, very, very femme queenie straight man in the best possible way.
Yeah, no, I would love to hang out with this guy.
Yeah, he's also the Lost Action family member, I feel like.
I did maybe think he looks like he could hang with us. I did notice.
Adam, has a trans daughter and very clearly figured out his stuff a long time ago and is just at the point where he's able to have fun. What do you got?
Correction. His daughter is pansexual and their husband is a trans male.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Okay.
Though I also want to say that this man is shaped exactly this way so I can find him in my Christmas stocking.
Yeah.
This year, you can slide him right into my stocking anytime.
I would like his fireman calendar if somebody has it.
And by calendar, I mean personal booking page.
Yeah. All of this. Nathan, again, just stupidly buff, beautiful man, just absolutely gorgeous. And he was the one that when I realized he wasn't gay, I was like, oh, he's gonna be the problem. And maybe
No, he was a go-go dancer.
Yeah, well, he brought his own thing to it. He was ready to go. But all of that said, all these guys love them so much for showing up, for participating, for not embarrassing themselves, for not embarrassing us, for not embarrassing their queens. Very much appreciate that from our straight friends and allies. Henri, more than the girls from season 16's makeover challenge people. Like, I'm sorry, I love you very much, Lazy Susan. But Henri,
Susan.
Henri is ready to
Andre's gonna
start
be the season 17 front runner.
Season 17.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful in and out of drag. All the attitude you can hope for.
The most handsome man alive. I also just like a lot about, I said this in the group chat, a lot about him gave me gay Carl Weathers vibes. And so I just kept looking at him and going, Mando!
Oh my God. That's a real Mando right there.
But yeah, he was just absolutely beautiful and so game, and then got in drag. And like, the other thing I loved about this episode was the editing and the producers were down to highlight the inexperience of the makeover queens. A lot of times I feel like they try and polish over it too much. Just for like a really nice final product. And for some reason this time around, maybe it was just because it was unavoidable with the dancing, but you just really saw where the host queens were fine with the choreography, could have doubled it up. None of the guys were, because they've never done it before and they shouldn't be good with it. Like, you really wouldn't expect it. But you did just have to kind of show them front and center doing their best and not being amazing, and I think sometimes that's refreshing for this show.
Kevo, can you just go back to the a couple of images to one more?
Which
one more. I want to make a joke, so you need to go and one more.
Oh my God.
Then two more.
Well, so anyway, I was trying to say that Roxy looks like Ken, and that Vanjie looks like Color Magic Barbie here, and that if you dip her, she'll turn into a zebra print. And if you dip her again, she'll go back to cheetah print. And if you dip her again, she'll go to candy cane. I
don't know about that. I don't think we had that technology in the 90s.
Vanjie does. Look at this hairline.
I will say I've been second screening the show so much, I only just noticed Vanjie's face tattoo today, and I've
been staring at it.
I want it so badly
for a real long time.
I love it so much. I desperately need to know who did this. It is such a good tattoo. It actually looks really good on her. I truly am a little embarrassed that I just haven't noticed it today, because I am not paying close attention to this show.
It looks like sideburns. It looks really eloquently done. It looks really lovely.
She always has a marker to know where to shave when you're shaving the sideburns. Know where to shave it. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, I stop here.
I don't go further than that. I stop cutting.
Vanjie.
So, and we do that with love, because, you know, when she backs up, it makes money.
Vanjie is the gift that keeps on giving. Vanjie just makes such good TV. She is so effortlessly entertaining to watch. And she even kind of talked about it. Do I personally think she was kind of robbed of a win in season 11? Yeah, I kind of do. Not that Brooklyn did a horrific job, but they could have given it to Vanjie, and the entire outcome of the entire season could have been exactly the same. And it kind of just felt like, you know, to use the Jinx joke more than once again, RuPaul just like to edge her along, and we all watched it for an entire season, so I guess we're complicit. So it felt like they were trying to rectify, like kind of backtrack to give her this win that she kind of deserved. This is Vanjie's first win, which is, you know, props to her, because that's an incredible feat. A lot of queens don't make it as far as Vanjie did on their original season, not get a win.
I mean, I want to point out, he's so right. Very few people can be in this many episodes with only one win to their name.
Don't disrespect.
He's right. Very few people.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, this is Jujubee slander.
Jujubee, the only queen to make it to her finale in all 4 of her seasons,
and still not anything.
Well, and so part of what winds up happening with this particular episode for me is all of the best parts were where it was like cunty old school Drag Race. Like, this was the bitchiest episode in a while, especially when Chanel was like, what is bothering me is that one of these girls, someone here, is putting that thought in your ears. And I was just mama.
This was the episode where I was like, Chanel has realized her producer has lost interest. She has decided to pull something and force everyone to talk about what they don't want to.
And this does kind of bring me to a point that we started the episode of Drag Race with, and I noticed it in the preview, and we've been sort of talking about and around it as we've talked about this show. With a Nobody Goes Home season, already you are drama reduced. With nobody making any money.
It's a cage match. How is there less drama? None of them can escape. It is a cage match.
They can all escape.
With nobody pulling money, it is also less dramatic because, you know, you're not fucking with anybody's coin and what they might take home with them. It did feel like as Tori said, but I feel like on an even grander scale, everybody was kind of like, I feel like they were told by their producers, you need to give us something, but it still makes no sense because nothing's going on. Like, I feel like the producers even said, we're going to cut it so that you don't hear anybody rooting for Mick. And you only hear people. I'm literally not joking. You only hear people rooting for Nina so that you guys can have this moment where Mick goes, well, you know, I heard these people just rooting for Nina. So if I was going to chop anybody, I'd chop them or maybe not give them a badge. And we saw more of that same kind of drama in the preview for Index. God, Plastique is so fucking hot.
The fact that didn't win.
We saw more of that same type of drama where I'm just sort of like, I don't buy any of this, and I don't know if I care or not, but I do feel like something is being said about everybody's awareness that it's not Drag Race without this kind of drama and this kind of infighting. But if it's not coming up organically, it's weird. So it's one of the things that I don't know where we're at for this season.
Oh, please go, Tori.
I think that the drama will ramp up the more it becomes like there are people with 4 badges, there are people with 1, there are people who have 3, who have 50K for their charity, there are people who have 10. Like, once that becomes more, we don't have enough badges or money disbursements yet for it to be like, hey, I know we all have some, but they have a lot, and that's where you can actually, class warfare doesn't actually work when everyone is close together. So,
and that's my whole point. Where like I was like, no, they're one badging it. Nobody's gonna give anybody the 2 badge advantage, the badge advantage, as it were. Yeah. And I even understand all of the reasons somebody might, but they're clearly going to manipulate this so that it stays compelling.
But are they, like, is it compelling? Because what I'm saying is, like, for me, I am not compelled at all. Like, I was just that moment where it wasn't even Gottmik saying, I heard you guys voting for, like, calling for Nina, because man, did you notice that in the previous episode. But I also feel like I'm 100% certain that is not the only audio that was present during that lip sync. That's just what they cut into the episode. And so then Gottmik reacts, which, like, to me is fine. But then the reaction about Gottmik saying that is so big. And it's just like, none of you are first timers to this show. None of you need the money because you're not getting the money. And this is true. And none of you are going home. So
I'm mentally ill. Can I have the money?
Please.
Oh, mental illness. When he said that.
and none of you are going home, so you didn't blow a lot of money showing up here just to get sent back. So I feel like if we're not getting personal and weird with it, I just don't actually think the drama is maybe compelling. And I think it's becoming this thing of like, I don't know that I know what to do with a drag race that can't recognize it's not season 2 anymore. It's not season 6 anymore. Like, the fights are just going to be different by nature of the fact that this show changed its own industry. And it's got to kind of recognize that more.
I think the wonderfulness of them playing for charity and nobody goes home comes with the other side of that coin, that the stakes just aren't quite there. They're not really risking anything. They're just not making as much money for the charity, which sucks, and it is a good motivator, but it's not a good motivator for TV drama. It's a little more
Gia Gunn could not do this.
No. Could you imagine?
For one thing, she'd be like, can I just take the money? I don't want to give it to a
This
charity.
isn't for
I
Charity is
also-
literally me.
I also have the question on if the charities okayed this beforehand.
Well,
I'm like
crazy
90%
thing-
sure they would, but
I'm sure they all did. However, many online members of the Asian American community are not stoked about Plastique's charity and are being very vocal about that fact.
oh, they chose the Autism Speaks version.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of seem like people really feel that that particular charity is, yes, much like that, and much kind of like a self-generating think tank that is just kind of existing to pay the people that work for it. Anyway, I don't know how they got to these charities. God, every time we bring this up, Nina's face makes it impossible for me to.
And Nina is handsome.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, she could not get a single moment in that episode that we cut these clips from, these pictures from, in which she wasn't making a weird gooner face.
I also
And they're all often making weird gooner faces. Like, Gottmik is making a face. Vanjie's face is Vanjie's
Yeah.
face.
Roxy's
like,
face looks
lock
like
her
that
up.
all the time.
We should.
well,
Roxy
and like
kind of looks like the T-Rex best friend from Dinosaurs.
And again, I have to just stress that everybody's teeth situation is horrifying. It is. It is. Well, no, I mean, they're all very paid for, but Roxy and Vanjie, you could see them from space.
they are very teeth.
Porcelain.
They are very toothed.
Yes. Nico.
I just generally enjoyed so much about what happened with the overall episode. I didn't need the double win. The double win felt like what I mean by, and I understand what you mean, TK, by it's not necessarily compelling for you. But one of the things is by keeping the numbers close, it's not a far away winner. And it gives it that opportunity to have that organic growth, which is where when they randomly cut Angeria.
Don't get me started, because I was pressed for Angeria. Because I would be very pressed right now.
This is such a weird decision that it actually is like Roxy being like, no, I'm gonna do old school drag. First of all, in the background, you might notice we're doing a bit of a Janet Jackson tribute tonight. Black Cat and All Right off of Rhythm Nation 1814. And this is my classic That's the Way Love Goes off of Janet Period. Big Janet guy. I was born the day that Control came into this world, and now I have a lot of it. And so literally February 4th, 1986, me and Control both into the world. So big fan of seeing Roxy Andrews and Vanjie, two literal cat people, duel out for Black Cat superiority. But what I was not prepared for was, and I mean this, like Roxy gave her best Raquel Welch just sort of standing at the wind machine. And Vanjie thought that the shoot was at the Claire's in the mall. And I felt like both of them gave me a great version of what I got. But what I got was the B+ version from A+ Queens. And so I felt like it wasn't a tie. I felt like it was no winners.
Yeah, I also was like, oh, it's a tie because she doesn't want to say nobody gets any money. So your punishment is you only get half money.
I thought it was a little bit better than maybe some other people perceived it.
I'm sort of with Jonah on that one. I did think that just unequivocally Roxy won.
Yes.
And I'm very critical of Roxy on this show because I think Roxy is a legend. And I think when you are a legend in your field, when you're on drag, I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, I'm tough on Roxy. I have high standards for her. And I was totally watching this. I was like, oh, Roxy just absolutely slayed this. And I sort of, the whole time I was thinking, this is one of those unfair moments where it's the perfect song for Roxy. It is at exactly the right time. This is kind of unfair that we're making Vanjie go through this exercise when Roxy's clearly going to win. And then we're going to have, whoever Roxy cuts. And then the episode, the lip sync concludes and it's a tie. I was just sort of baffled. Vanjie was not bad at all, but I just thought that in that same way that just Dawn was never going to win body against Morphine. I just sort of didn't ever think there's a world in which Vanjie, who I don't imagine, I love her so much, but I don't see anything about her that indicates to me that she is an old school Janet Jackson fan. She does sort of give me that vibe of if it's before 2000, I don't really know about it. And Roxy is a classics girl. Roxy is absolutely a Janet girl. She is a Tamar Braxton, she's a Braxton Family Values girl. So I don't know. It was one of those things where I was like, this moment is absolutely just for Roxy. And then I was completely gobsmacked that they ultimately decided to do a tie that then led to Roxy just picking Angeria again because there's no drama available on this show. And the one thing that you could do is this weird kind of, well, she blocked me, so I'll block her, even though this strategically, you better hope that next challenge doesn't require makeup. Otherwise, you just let Gottmik have a win for no reason.
We're on All Stars 7. I'm going to try to tread as lightly as possible. They potentially weren't as afraid as letting people who were blocked win challenges, even though a lot of challenges in All-Star 7, I think, have multiple people you can arguably just pick from a hat to win. Here, it seems like this was kind of the perfect opportunity to not only have Georges win, even though she's blocked, she doesn't get the badge, but it kind of goes full, they feel resistant to this idea that if you're blocked, you can't win. I am also Delulu and blinded as a fan. I also think Plastique probably could have won 3 challenges by now. Should have, maybe. But it just feels like they're guarded at letting people who are already cut win when that's kind of the perfect time to let someone who they don't have in mind for the finale win, because that doesn't change their stakes. They're not getting the badge. You need the most number of badges. That's the point, it's the criteria. It just felt a little weird here, and especially the cutting Angeria. I will say this, Angeria probably, outside of someone like Roxy or Mick, those probably my top 3, arguably, of well-roundedness of who I can conceivably see there. I want to see Plastique there, but the show doesn't seem interested in putting her there. So,
well, and to kind of build on that, something that I really agree with is the show seems resistant to giving blocked bitches badges. But I think, block badge bitches wins. But I think that's because from a storyteller point of view, they're not looking, they know who's going to win the season. They're going to figure it out. They'll get there. But week to week, they've already checked the box. They're like, oh, that person's blocked. We don't have to do their story blocking next week. Next week, they get a couple of lines, but we don't need to worry about them in the edit. We've blocked them. They're off our plate. And it feels like that's kind of why we see Roxy disappear into the background the week she's blocked. It's why we see these sort of weird focuses on these characters having a good week, and then all of a sudden, oh, they're blocked. It just sort of has felt very, we're using it to explain why we're not going to use the person next week.
Well, and again, we're not going to spoil for Tori, but the twist at the end of 7 when it came to badge math, that is always looming in my head for this season too, that we might do some interesting badge math stuff. And all of the girls have that in the back of their head for sure. The producers actually know what they're going to do, so that's another factor. But it's weird that badges actually do represent an opportunity to do more game strategy and to do, again, like some game math here and really try and figure out what you might do to strategize a person, allowing a person to win and not get a badge. I'm gonna do it because I know next challenge is probably gonna be Snatch Game, so I'm fine if this person wins but doesn't get a badge. And I don't know quite where we are with that conceptually for RuPaul's Drag Race. Again, like so much of what this show is making me think about, and this show, I've been there for the last couple seasons, is just like, where are we broadly going from here? Because this just can't be the same show that it was. And every new season, I just kind of feel that more and more. And I do think we're moving beyond the older traditions, but there's still times where I'm like, just like, we need a complete reset and like we're doing things totally differently now.
And I think a big part of that is even in seeing this episode have smooshed challenges. Girl group makeover hybrid with no mini challenge to speak of in a show with no Untucked. So the focus had to be on the challenge girls.
There is Untucked.
There is Untucked.
All Stars?
Yeah.
My apologies.
Wait, there's been Untucked this whole time?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I just figured you guys don't talk about it.
I have not seen it, but I'm going to hazard this guess. It's probably not very entertaining.
I was going to say...
It's not. It's very
That's
charming to watch them talk to each other because I like happy queens.
Yeah. We'll enjoy it. But that's interesting to know. And thank you for that update that it is exactly what...
We'll go watch it, yeah.
Is it on Paramount Plus or is it on YouTube?
It's on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
Like
this is not the best
5 through
commercial
9.
for Untucked.
It's not advertising it.
No, they really are not.
There's
I
not
have no
getting
idea.
paid.
Get the other half that don't, check
You're
out
only missing half the
Untucked.
story.
Yeah, there's no...
I did not start a call.
That is so interesting. Well, okay.
All right, well, we got some background work to do. Sorry, everybody. We
All right. Well, now we're really going uphill. From
great moment. I'm so glad, Kevo, you brought this up. The only thing was, it's just it's such a pleasant and then also unpleasant reminder. Like sometimes RuPaul laughs for real.
Just got her.
RuPaul was tickled by this joke, and that makes me smile. But then when I hear a real RuPaul laugh, I'm constantly reminded that, like, lately we've been getting far too many fake RuPaul laughs.
I get that.
Speaking of the judges this season, Michelle, what do you mean you don't know the Powerpuff Girls? Get out of here. Stop it. What producer told you to say that?
Well, and when Michelle was like, for me, I think that was the best transformation. I just think Michelle says the thing that comes to her in that moment. She's given so many considered responses over the years that sometimes you just say what's in your head in that moment. You don't say the considered TV response. And,
they air it.
All right. Well, I think now that we've acknowledged that we don't watch Untucked, we're at a really great place to wrap this one.
Yeah.
I do want to say, Jonah, would you mind just grabbing my boombox pin right there? I actually bought a different piece of merch from the show. I bought this amazing enamel boombox pin with these little moving hearts, right? One of the things that I just wanted to highlight this for, it's so stupid, that I wanted to highlight, but Drag Race isn't what you think it is anymore, and these queens aren't who you think they are, and the local drag scene is so cool, and getting to be a part of a big picture of all of that in one night, one day, living that from 4 p.m. till 1 a.m, and getting to do it in waves. So We programmed a little bit at the room, and then we went to the event, and then we went back to the room, and then we went to like the show afterward, and then we walked on the beach for a little bit. Like, just getting that sort of magic, getting that artistry. And this is something I grew up with, festivals in this city on that stage. This was my playground as a kid, and seeing that be my adult playground, because playgrounds can learn to evolve too.
So you would say this used to be your playground?
It used to be my childhood dream. It used to be the place I ran to whenever I needed big hip pads. So, and
I was just
now,
thinking about the movie.
and the TV show. So I'm just really excited and proud of Asbury, proud of Trixie. So exceptionally happy I got to see Jan. This was part of a tradition for me, and that tradition was excellence from every one of these forces. How did you feel, Joj?
I had a very wonderful drag-filled weekend with this lovely, lovely crew of people, including this episode. Getting to see people that I love, getting to see local talent, because I think, yes, it's one thing to be a fan of the show. I'm going to say a hot take. I don't really think you're a fan of drag if you only like Drag Race. You can be a fan of Drag Race and you can be a fan of those entertainers, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it's absolutely valid. But if you really want to be a fan of drag, you kind of have to go support your local scene, go support your local girls. And I keep saying this, but like, enjoy those queens, because maybe you'll get to see them on stage on the big screen, and you get to say, I've been their fan, I've been to their shows, they're incredible, and you have someone that you have a personal connection with to root for. So go out, go do that, support your local drag scenes. It's really important. I will say, comparing this to something like season 3, which had the straight bros come in, and it was really toxically masculine, and they had to like show this juxtaposition between gay men and straight men, and here seeing everybody just have a very wonderful time. I think in terms of heartwarmingness and enjoyability, I loved this makeover challenge. It seemed like everybody had a great time. Everybody looked great. Nobody looked bad. But, and as like I said earlier, no one did bad. Nobody failed. Everybody had like a really amazing time. I think everybody felt confident in their drag and what they were able to do and what that brought out in them. It was worse the right team won, but that's neither here nor there. I had an amazing, wonderful time. Thank you to everybody for help making that special. Everybody here.
Yeah, it was a great night.
Tori, I want to get your take, and then get where everybody can find you, and get this roast a cooking.
Ooh. I enjoyed this episode a lot. I love the makeover episodes. I think they're the best. I think teaching the queens while the queens teach you is just such a lovely setup that I'm sad they don't do several of them.
Then maybe you would enjoy the TV show Drag You.
If Jonah's laughing, I don't think I will. I know better now to ignore the troll.
You're so shady.
I also enjoyed Trixie Mattel. I don't like DJ sets, so I was just there to vibe and watch her play with her hair, and so that was lovely for me. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited to see if Chanel tries to get people to pick another fight next week, or or what?
Chanel fights number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Chanel's trying with her words right now to get other people to start things. Next step is using her words to start things. And then the third one is she's just going to start snipping at things.
Oh, there's a fist fight.
Oh, I thought she was going to start standing on the stage and demanding that Ross Matthews tell her she's beautiful. And Ross Matthews be like, I'm actually the nicest judge. I only say nice things. It makes me seem weak as a judge. Why are you
beautiful? I'm sorry. I don't know what you want me to say.
Chanel got told that she always beats a pretty face today, so like I think she's can suck her on that for a few weeks.
And other than the gas station that Michelle Visage clearly manages, with the way she is doing that hair like the badass lesbian bitch that she knows she is on the inside,
that shade of orange was terrible on her in those lights. I was very disappointed.
Oh, matching her skin.
She was definitely Parkway Orange today. Where can everybody find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on the social medias at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I. And you can find me doing Kid Riot. You can find me going on these podcast video streaming things. And
All over this channel.
all over the channel. Sometimes even on other shows. Not as often as you think. Elvis. People.
But we love you. We think you're amazing, and we're going to see you real soon.
Bye, kids.
What an amazing time we've had. TK, well, you were not at the show. You were at this show with us. And I would love to get how you felt about this episode of Drag Race, this crossover episode, this 2-for-1 special.
I gotta say, I will never recover from Henri Angelique. I just think that is a great man and a great queen. I hope he does continue to do stuff. So I had a lot of fun with that. I was super bummed I didn't get to be in Asbury and go see the show with you guys, but I loved seeing videos from you guys. I love knowing that you were there and having a good time. I know there's always another show down the line.
Yes.
And in a couple weeks, I am going to see Miss Plain Jane at the State Theater here in Portland, Maine. And then the next day, Jake and I have just finalized our Cyclops and Marvel Girl looks to go see Sasha Colby at the Tea Dance on Peaks Island. So I'm very excited for that, and I will be stoked to talk about that on the show with you guys when I return. So, you know, there's always going to be another thing. We always have fun. And in the meantime, I am stoked to soon talk about the end of Discovery. Nico and I are going to be doing some comics talk that will be going up on the podcast on Monday. Comics is wild, man. It's the end of the Krakoan era. So we always have a lot going on, a lot to talk about, a lot to say. There's nobody else I would rather talk about it with. And I just am stoked to talk about it with you guys.
Graham Stoker.
Well, we're about as stoked as you get about you. But speaking of stokage and major stokenings, Kevo, you produced this thing so brills. And you know, you were with me the vast majority of yesterday. You when I wanted to, I don't have a problem. I am a time management artist. So when I get multiple drinks and have Kevo hold one for me so I can drink my first drink faster, it's really just about knowing your wingman and having the need for slurring and falling down onto the pool table. So my question.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, my question for you is, what was the best part of the night other than getting to be with me?
Well, you know, now I was going to say it's a teamwork thing. It's a team effort. This was a team effort. Last night was a team effort. You know, like I said, we're 38. I don't know where that second one came from, but maybe it's the fact that it was, you know, so chill. Everyone was so friendly and fun. It was right downstairs. It's such a lovely venue, and everyone is so great. It was the most wonderful time. Just like I had a wonderful time earlier tonight, jumping over on the Traveling TARDIS broadcast for tonight's episode of Doctor Who. Thank you, Melanie, for stopping by here. It was so great to have you and everyone else who stopped by. Everyone who stopped by tonight, thank you so much. This was so much fun. I love talking about our experience going out and seeing these things. Hopefully we can do some more fun things this Pride season. And yeah, same as you guys, I'm excited to talk disco on Sunday. In the meantime, you can find me at Kev O'Reilly. And now I'm going to bump it up to this box for the sign-offs.
Joj, what was your favorite part of this weekend, and where can everybody find you?
Jan Mattel. Honestly, every performer, everybody. Reeve, Chrissy, literally all the dancers. Shout out to all the dancers. They were all incredible. So, like, literally everybody who got on stage and shook what their mama gave them. I loved you and appreciate everything you did for me. In life, I guess. You can find me places at Jonah. That's Peak.
All right. And Kevo, did you do your sign off too?
Yeah, I think.
Okay,
Really.
We're bouncing all over. It's really exciting. And now, TK, you did not do your sign off. We talked about where you can physically be if they want to stalk you,
Yes.
but we have not signed you out yet, like a library book.
Yeah, go up to the counter and ask for TK Elemental. The person working will know what to do with that.
No, we can't give you that book. It's a lightener.
We're going to talk about that one day, too. Nico, where can everybody find you? Where do you make
You didn't say
music?
where everybody can find you.
I did, TK Elemental.
You genuinely did
No,
that
No,
time.
I'm
You're
so
a
sorry.
mental
You said
patient.
it, in my head, I was like, no, that's at the library counter. Where can they find
Yeah,
people online?
see, you messed your own joke. Where can everybody find you? How do you spell your name? And can you spell it by adding the word music to the end of that? I'm just curious.
That is Nico Action, NicoAction, music, MUSIC. That's Nico Action Music for all your Nico action and music needs. Though you could probably find me dancing with my shirt off at Paradise. So definitely come find me there all summer long, having the best time. That said, I love these people. I had the best time. Highlight of my weekend was probably seeing Jan. Dream come true. Love Jan so much. Old Bridge bitch. Got to represent Sayreville boy here. So Daddy knows what he's up to. The other thing I would say is we got to have you guys do 3 things. That's comment, like, and subscribe. This way we can track you like you track us. But then there's 3 things we really need you guys to do for you, right? Number 1, we need you guys to stay safe. It's a crazy world, but the safer you guys stay, the better we get to see you in the future. Number 2, we ask you guys, in all of that safety, in all of your solid pink disco dumb, we want you guys to be absolutely as brave as you can be knocking everything over. We want you guys to be brave. It's very exciting to be brave and knock things over. But when you're not doing that, what we really want you guys to do is evolve daily. If you guys can evolve daily, that is the dream. That lets us know that you guys are being the best you can be tomorrow. And until then, we will see you guys on Sunday to discover more amazing things together. See ya.